Hello, damnation, and welcome to the roundup of the week. This week in Trump escalation. Folks, it's been wild. And so I'm going to do something that I normally don't do at the end of the week, which is just talk and kind of go through the headlines, but mostly have a conversation about is it just me or has America entered a different dimension of fucking crazy? Is it just me? Or do you really think that, like, this eclipse week, right? Because there is a lunar eclipse that is happening on Sunday, that this whole transition that we're seeing, the Epstein victims speaking out, the fissures inside of the Republican Party, the courts saying that Trump does not have the right to intervene and just put military on the ground in American cities. Um, Everything feels more crazy than it did at the beginning of the summer. Am I the only one that is feeling this? But we're going to unpack it today on the Danielle Moodie Show. I'm so happy that you all are here. Happy Thursday. Let's get into it. Hello, damnation. First off, super excited to announce what some of you may have seen last night. We hit 30,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and I am just over the moon that you all have decided to show up every single day and like, comment, and share and help me build this community of like-minded, sane patriots who believe in this whole experiment of democracy. And I'm just so appreciative to all of you. I know that 30,000 for some, you follow people with hundreds of thousands of followers and millions of followers. But for me, it's just like I feel like damnation is the little train that could, the little community that could. And so I am just so over the moon with the movements that we have been able to make. And I couldn't do it without all of you showing up and believing in this channel and believing in the programming that I offer. And there's more that's going to be coming soon that I'm excited to begin interviews coming soon in September, later in September. Now that we're kind of post-holiday, almost finished with summer. So I'm excited to launch new things. But folks, where do we begin today? So I don't have any slides today because I almost had to cancel the show because I was running super behind in my travel and transits and everything. But I decided, fuck it. We don't need slides. We know what's happening. So let's just get into it, shall we? I think so. So here's where I begin today. RFK Jr. is fucking bananas. I cannot believe that this man is the head of Health and Human Services. I cannot believe a man who has said that his heroin addiction helped him. A man that has confessed to having a brain worm, a man that is anti-vax and has no scientific or medical background whatsoever. A man that a man that is akin to anyone that would have a tin hat on their head and blackout, blinds in their home. Everyone's listening to me and our bodies are filled with nodes and the government is listening, like that tin hat idiot is going to be what kills us. Like, this man is sitting on Capitol Hill today and is defiant in his ignorance, because you will never find anyone that is more combatant than a person that is dead fucking wrong. You ever notice that? That the more wrong people in this administration are, the more brash and just outdone they act, right? Like the more incredulous they become. Like, how dare you ask me pointed questions like, oh, I don't know, how many people died during COVID? And you say, I don't know, I'd have to look into that. And then the members of the oversight committee are just like, look into it. You're the fucking head of Health and Human Services. How do you not know that it's over 1 million people? We're asking you why you fired 17 researchers and doctors from the advisory board and council on vaccines. And you say, oh, because the institution is corrupt. No, motherfucker, you corrupted it. That's why there are over 1,000 employees that have all signed on to a letter saying that this man must resign, that he is putting the health and safety and well-being of 330 million Americans at risk. But then you got the folks down in Florida. This is my other topic of like, oh my God, in Florida saying, oh, we're not just going to roll back on COVID vaccines. No, we're rolling back on all vaccines. No one needs to be vaccinated. And would you know, I got to look up his name because I want to make sure that I get it right. This man who said that vaccines, folks, there was Dr. Joseph Ladapo, who is the state surgeon general, a black man, the state surgeon general of Florida, who said that vaccine mandates have remnants of slavery to it. I'm sorry, what? What are you talking about? How do you even equate these two things? These people are so quick. It's like, I don't get, let me tell you something. You can be black and not for black people. Let me say that again. You can be black, but not for black people. That is Dr. Lapido, who would have the audacity to say that vaccine mandates, which have kept generations of children, healthy and well, polio, measles, whooping cough, shit that used to be rampant and actually kill children that now doesn't because we have vaccines, except now measles is back because you have this nutty group of RFK Jr. fucking fans that believe that vaccines cause harm. Like, yeah, let us pray it all away because we don't trust modern medicine because Donald Trump decided that, science, which was very black and white, is up for debate. So, folks, I look at this and I listen to this Dr. Lapido that is now going to make it so that there is absolutely no vaccine mandate. God bless people in Florida who cannot move, who are going to be sending their young kids to school. I hope that you will be able to get vaccines, but you see that what RFK Jr. was saying as he's testifying on Capitol Hill today is that, oh no, it's not that they want to limit vaccines, they want to control your ability to get vaccines. So even if you are a parent who is saying, I don't get my kids vaccinated because I'm told that I have to, I get my kids vaccinated because I want them to live long and healthy lives, that now RFK Jr. and the conspiracy tin hat gang is limiting your choice. These people that rode into power on individual freedom and individual choice are the same people that are now going to make it so that you can't get your kid a chicken pox vaccination or a measles vaccination or a COVID vaccination. Like, you understand what is happening here. And all of this comes back to what? Their belief in eugenics. So they're willing, because they're in, these people in their head, these white nationalists, these white supremacists, they are in it, in their minds, at war already. They've been in a civil war, right? They've been in a civil war where they are willing to take casualties of that war. So if there are children that die, you know, in the grand scheme of things, if we can kill off Black and brown people, which is what their goal is, because they believe that we're the ones with the weak genes. So by not vaccinating, they'll just be this natural fall off. And then those that are supreme, those whose genes are, according to American Eagle, you know, the ones that you want, those will be the people that thrive and survive. And everyone else, well, you just weren't supposed to make it to begin with. Like, that's the thinking here. So it's not just that these folks are nuts, people, it's that they're nuts and wildly racist and anti-Semitic. So their absolute crazy is being targeted to cause direct trauma in groups that they deem to be vulnerable. And so if those vulnerable populations then die, oops, survival of the fittest. So it's amazing to me that you have this kook who is sitting before the Senate, who is basically saying, yeah, I don't need a degree. I'm just going to ensure that women can't get HPV, girls can't get HPV vaccinations that have lowered cervical cancer, right? And other reproductive issues that lower, like, no, folks. So I look at RFK Jr. today and those fucking Republicans that were his cheerleaders that now are starting to ask questions because they were fine when it was the rest of us that were going to die. But they didn't think that they too would be at risk and their families would be at risk. And now all of a sudden they have questions. Where were your questions when Kennedy's own family wrote an open letter in the New York Times and said that this man is dangerous and should be nowhere near this department? And now 8 months in, Republicans are like, oh, maybe we should have asked harder questions. Maybe you should have fucking given a damn. It would be funny if the find out part of the fuck around didn't involve the rest of us. Because then I'd be sitting with popcorn and being like, isn't that unfortunate? But the fact that all of our families are at risk, the fact that we are at risk, and that we are just primed for another global health pandemic, and it's going to be a gutted CDC, an inoculated WHO, and these fucking mad people that we're supposed to be listening to. So this is what I have to say on this note, and then we'll move on. Shout out to the Western Alliance of Washington, California, and Oregon that have announced that they are starting their own health alliance where they will communicate with one another about recommendations and vaccine recommendations, mandates, and what have you, because they have said that, well, we can't trust this politicized CDC now that it's filled with all of these kooks and all of the people who cared and knew about public health are gone. So we have to figure out what we're doing on our own. So here's the thing, folks. This is what is so troubling. And I talked about this earlier this week again. Soft secession. It is not something that we had in our lexicon before the last couple of weeks, but soft secession is exactly what is taking place. It is not like a will we, won't we? It's happening. Where blue states are beginning to operate in the way that red states have been using their states' rights in order to hinder people's access to bodily autonomy, voting rights, etc. Now you have blue states saying, well, wait a minute. I don't have to cooperate with this unconstitutional administration. I don't have to follow what it is. Like, I need to protect my own constituents. I need to protect my own state. And I need to align with other states that we can all trust what our recommendations are. We are already splintering. This country is already breaking apart. The soft secession is already in play. And I think that in the coming weeks, you are going to hear from more East Coast states and others that are saying, we're forming an alliance, whether it is about trade, whether it is about health and safety, disaster relief, etc. We cannot, this is what these governors are finally starting to see. We cannot afford to just continue to go along with the get along and pretend that like somebody else is coming to save us. So I am, for one, happy that these other governors are now following Gavin Newsom and saying, yeah, we got to use this states' rights to our benefit. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to make it through. We're not going to be able to power through. And I think that we are going to see this more and more and more. So the other news, Donald Trump doesn't know whether he's going to go into New Orleans next or he's going to go into Chicago. He doesn't know which invasion he's going to give the green light for. But on the upside, this week, he lost a court case, which he should probably get used to doing. But we all know that the ultimate decider is the MAGA-fied Supreme Court of the United States. But the lower court in California said that Donald Trump's military invasion of LA was illegal and unnecessary, and that he did not have the authority and the power to do so because no one asked him to put boots on the ground in this state. So now that his invasion of LA was deemed illegal, now today, who else filed suit? Washington, D.C. I've been waiting on this. Donald Trump, just think about this for a minute, folks. These supposed fiscally responsible Republicans who always want to yap off on the mouth about the national debt and the deficit and our trade partners and this, that, and the other thing. Meanwhile, it's always the Republicans that run up our deficit, that run up America's debt every single time they're in power. There hasn't been one time when a Republican president has actually balanced the budget. No, only Democrats. Because Democrats are the janitors to the Republicans' fuckery and don't call them out on it, and have allowed them to be the ones that are seen as the more fiscally conservative and responsible because what? They want to pour more money into the Pentagon than they do the people. So that's on Democrats. But fact of the matter is that Washington, D.C. filed a lawsuit today on Donald Trump's invasion of Washington, D.C. that is costing the American people, folks, $1 million a day. The invasion of California cost the American taxpayers roughly $127 million. DC is costing us $1 million a day. Can you think of anything that we could use that would help the American people if we were spending $1 million a day on it? But Donald Trump is spending $1 million a day of our fucking money so that he can look like a tough guy, so he can play fucking G.I. Joe. Do you hear any Republicans talking about how irresponsible it is? Or what about the $200 million that he's going to spend on a gaudy, tacky, disgusting ballroom to further deface the White House? Like Gavin Newsom said, are you spending $200 million on a house that you plan on leaving in 3.5 years? I don't think so. But where is all of MAGA to talk about how fiscally irresponsible this is? And how is it being paid for? Oh, by kicking 16 million people off of healthcare, by basically defunding our public education system, by basically bankrupting FEMA, robbing from the American people to feed the insatiable greed of the oligarchy. And so, again, I was asked this today. I did Tavis Smiley's show in LA this morning. And Tavis asked me, Danielle, he said, what's the plan? Do you know of any plan that Democrats have, the establishment? Like, what are they doing? And I said, Tavis, there is no fucking plan. I said, they had an entire year to put together their own Project 2025 list of how they were going to combat Project 2025, the literal Scooby-Doo plot that was put in their laps, and they didn't do shit. They're still sitting around with their fucking dicks in their hands trying to figure out, like, oh, what do we do now? And frankly, I don't give a fuck what Hakeem Jeffries and fucking Chuck Schumer want to come up with. They can take their AIPAC asses someplace else, because I'm not interested in anything that they would come up with at this late date. 8 months into this administration, and this motherfucker is driving our economy into the ground. 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs. They are the canary in the coal mine moving forward. The jobs report in August was paltry at best. And CEOs are talking about the fact that their tariffs are ruining the United States' global standing and will ultimately ruin our economy. So you think that the Democrats could fucking manage to put up a billboard on any of those things? No, they're just sitting around because they'd rather put their energy towards bringing down Zoran Mandani. They'd rather put their energy into backing a fucking predator in Andrew Cuomo. So I was asked today, Danielle, do you think that the Democrats are able to win the midterm elections? And I said, first of all, let me stop you there. We're not having midterm elections. And if we do, it'll be a farce. So the fact is that you need people, and the people are desperate for folks that are willing to put up a fucking fight. You know what it is? I don't even care if you lose. If you go into a fight with some fucking grit and passion and force behind you, because it shows that you're a fighter, that you're willing to risk something. That's not this Democratic Party. So if the people find their way out of fascism, folks, it's going to be off the strength of the people of this country going 10 toes down for each other, and for the belief that we can, with each generation, perfect this very imperfect union. It will be the people, not them rallying behind some mythical candidate, but the people saying enough is a fuck enough. From both. From one, the American Fascist Party, and this lapdog fucking Democratic Party. Because I tell you, I'm not interested in swearing my allegiance to Democrats any longer. I got called to go on TV next weekend. Y'all notice I haven't been talking about TV at all, because I don't see truly the point in going on to be asked stupid questions by people who really don't want and thoughtful answer. They just want a soundbite. And that who are we moving? Because most people have turned off of their televisions. But I'm toying with the idea of saying that, yeah, I'm not going on as a Democratic strategist. Don't call me that. Like, because I no longer see eye to eye with the Democratic Party. But I don't want people to like get it twisted that I'm an independent that will sometimes like fall in allegiance with a fascist party either. I'm a progressive. I'm a humanist. I'm somebody that believes that regardless of your fucking ethnicity, your race, your gender, your orientation, your religion, your ability, whatever boxes that we like to put people in, you should have self-determination. You should have the ability to live your life in a way that is free from oppression and that allows you to thrive. This should not be a fucking radical notion. But somehow believing that all people should be able to live and exist free inside of their bodies, inside of their space, inside of this place that we call Earth, somehow I'm considered fucking radical. Why is it not tyrannical to think otherwise? Why is it not considered sociopathic to believe that some people are undeserving just by virtue of their birth? I don't understand it. Because if you ask me, if I'm doing a debate with someone on an opposing side and your opposing side is that some people should have food and shelter and clothing and other people are just undeserving. Oh, are we supposed to feed the whole world? Yeah, on this abundant fucking planet. Yeah, we can and we should, but for capitalism. For the fact that people actually benefit off of other people's suffering. If we did not base our economy off of that, then maybe we could actually feed and clothe and shelter everyone. But then how would the real estate industry make money? How would the prisons make money? Because that's what it always comes down to. And you see, you wanted to believe that one party or the other actually gave a shit. But you realize that one party is absolutely 100% sociopathic, and the other one is just okay with the status quo. And you see, I'm not okay with either. So folks want to keep asking me, well, what do you think Democrats will do? I don't give a fuck what Democrats will do. I care what the people are interested in doing. I care that the people are slowly beginning to wake out of their slumber and recognize that they are losing their country every single minute that Donald Trump remains in power and any of these people remain in power. I don't need somebody to be affiliated with some party. I need people to be affiliated with humanity and basic decency. Can we get back to the fucking basics? And until we do, I say shut the whole fucking place down. And folks always say to me, well, Danielle, how does that work? What do we do? You stop. You stop working. You stop shopping. You get your basic needs covered, and then you shut every other fucking industry down, one by one by one. Hospitals will keep going because they swore an oath, right? Just like they kept going during COVID. Grocery stores, if I'm a grocery store chain, I'm saying, you know what? I'm open maybe 2 days a week, and the rest of it, I'm shutting it down. There are ways to do things, folks. You're just not going to stay in comfort and fight a resistance. Like, that's the thing that people need to get out of their heads, is that you're going to still exist in some semblance of comfort. They're at war with us. They've been at war. So in order for us to win, we must move out of this space of our comfort zones and believing that we can just Netflix and chill our fucking way out of fascism. That's not how it works. You don't get to still have your Amazon deliveries and get to fucking go to Target and get to continue feeding the beast that thrives on your oppression. So I need folks to start to divest in the ways that they can. And I'll continue to ask for collective action across industry, across abilities, across identities until it fucking happens. These are the days that I wish that I had 300,000, 3 million subscribers so that I could say something and people just run with it. But I will keep saying it, and we will keep building this community and this movement until it fucking happens. But the more that you recognize that Democrats have been okay with you basically living with a nose above water. Oh, you're not drowning if your nose is above water and you're still taking in air. That's how Democrats develop policies. What'll be good enough? And then they settle for that. Republicans don't even bother developing policies because all they have to do is come up with schemes to gerrymander. But you have to recognize that Democrats that we put our hope and faith in, they're fine. Democrats, you'll say you're drowning and Democrats will throw you a paper straw because that's how we're going to fight climate change. It's us with the straws, not the motherfuckers taking super jumbo jets 15 minutes in the air just so that they can flex with how much money that they have while they're dropping a carbon fucking megaton on the rest of us. I tell you, it is a really interesting place where we find ourselves. And I say this at the close of every week. We all have our roles in this movement, in this moment. It isn't just to be passive on the sidelines because fascism is coming for all of us, whether it is denying us healthcare, denying us a vote, denying us bodily autonomy, denying us joy, occupying every bit of our minds to drive us mad. So you must ask yourself, how can I be activated? What is my role? Meditate on it, pray on it, think on it. Talk with your friends about it. What can I do? What can we do? If your collective starts to look like you and one other person, then you're building, folks. That's what building looks like. It looks like everyone deciding to take small actions every single day that amount to something bigger. But you don't start big, you start where you are. So imagine what kind of country we would be living in if we all took our responsibility as citizens seriously. If we choose to really be our brother and our neighbor's keeper. What does my community look around? Ask the questions. But each and every single one of us, even if you are disabled, if you are elderly, if you're on a fixed income, everyone has a role. That could just be hitting like, hitting share, making phone calls. But wherever you are, look around and say, what can I do today? What can I offer this week? Each and every single one of us can do something, because I will say this in closing. If you are waiting for this mythical hero of the Democratic Party to save us, you will drown. This is not a Hollywood movie. This isn't gonna end in some neat bow at the end of 2 hours. This is a decades-long fight that we're in. Decades long. It's like being 8 months into the 100-year war. So we got to roll up our sleeves. We got to look in the mirror. We got to look at our community and say, what can we do today? And then we got to do it. And then you build and you build and you build from there. But as Michelle Obama said at the DNC last summer, do something, because doing nothing is not an option. That is it for me today, dear friends, on the Danielle Moodie Show. I appreciate every single one of you. Hit like, hit subscribe. Let's get to our next goal of 35,000 subscribers. Let's just keep trucking along. So if you are new here, hit subscribe. Understand that all of my content will always remain free. I do not believe in paywalls, not here and not on Substack. But if you do have the ability to become a paid subscriber and you are on Substack, consider becoming a paid subscriber and support independent media. But if you can do nothing more than like, comment, and subscribe, please, please, please do that. I want to shout out my super stickers and super thanks, which I forgot to do yesterday. So apologies to folks. Diana, thank you so much. Ernst, as always, appreciate you. Lucy, Susan, as always, appreciate you. And CC, BG, thank you. Ernst, again, appreciate you. I thank each and every one of you for continuing to show up, not just for me, but for each other in the chats, in the comments. And I wish all of you a healthy, happy weekend. I will be back here tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern, with Wajahat Ali for Democracy-ish at 12 p.m. Eastern. So do make sure that you join there. The Danielle Moodie Show, dear friends, will be back on Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern. And I will have videos that go up over the weekend. So do make sure to hit the bell so that you never miss a video drop. As always, dear friends, power to the people and to all the people power. Get woke, stay sane. And in these extraordinarily dangerous times, dear friends, do stay safe. I will see you back here tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern. Be well.